It's a new year and the first half is jam-packed with new video game releases. Hi folks, it's Falcon and today on GameRanks, 20 upcoming games from the first half of 2019 that deserve your attention. Number 20 is Dirt Rally 2.0. If you remember the first game from 2015, I have to say it really doesn't seem like that long ago. It's a game that I think obviously focuses on rally cars. Given that there really aren't that many rally car games at this gaming moment, I think that Dirt Rally was kind of a shining example of realistic driving physics and frankly some of the best audio design that has ever been in a racing game. In fact, Dirt Rally is easily one of the better racing games of all time in my opinion. I'm very excited to see what they do to move beyond the first game, and it will be hitting Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on February 26, 2019. Number 19 is Anno 1800, the 7th in the city building RTS, frankly fairly beloved series. The theme of this game is industrialization. If you're interested in that aspect of human history, and frankly I am, to go back to the 19th century and hit the Industrial Revolution from the perspective of a city builder slash RTS is really interesting because not only is it set in the time when dirty factories became the main thing, there's also a tourism aspect of this game, and I really can't wait to see how those things intertwine, considering like pollution and civil unrest are not tourist attractions. Anno 1800 is hitting Microsoft Windows on February 26, 2019. Number 18 is ToeJam and Earl back in the groove. Let's just go ahead and say this, ToeJam and Earl, classic game. A game I never would have thought would ever have a sequel. It just doesn't make sense that this would be a thing, but not from the perspective that the original was bad or anything. It's actually a great, weird, fun game. I just thought it was lost to history, basically. It doesn't modify the formula a lot. It obviously isn't 2D anymore, it's a 3D game, but it plays out very similarly to the original from what we've seen, despite the fact that it's now smooth and good looking. It's still got that awesome funk soundtrack. I don't know that I would ask for anything different from what I've seen so far, so I gotta say I'm fairly excited for it, not just for a nostalgia reason. It looks like an improvement. ToeJam and Earl is hitting PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch on March 1st, 2019. Number 17 is Total War 3 Kingdoms. Obviously, it is a refinement of the Total War formula that puts us in the era of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. In case you're not aware, that was the division of China in the 3rd century into 3 states, which were pretty much at war. Romance is, of course, a novel. I just like referencing that. It's not really a romance what happened. It's actually a war. Maybe a total war. They promise the idea of much better artificial intelligence, a refined user interface, and an addition for this specific game, different generals actually will somewhat form relationships and there will be characters, and these things are involved in the strategy elements of the game because there will be a political element to it. I don't know, it sounds pretty damn good to me. Total War has always been a pretty good series. It's gonna hit the PC on March 7th, so look out for that. Number 16 is Trials Rising. It's been a while since there's been a Trials game. Trials Fusion was the last one, and it's basically a physics-based kind of Excitebike, but much more advanced style game. It's of course a multiplayer game. It's made for competing in local matches, online matches. Basically, it's a great party game. It's a game that I've played quite a lot of, and I'm excited to see a new version of it with more courses, and I'm quite excited to see what's in store as far as new things that come to the table. Trials Rising is hitting Windows, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on February 26th. 2019. Number 15 is Dead or Alive 6. Now, there is a certain subset of people that only care about this for bouncing reasons, I guess. I actually personally like the game for the fact that it's a actually great fighting game. And they've done a little bit to de-emphasize the bouncing elements, but I don't think that they've done so much that anybody is going to really complain that much. The costumes, maybe a little less revealing. Again, I think it's a quality fighting game that frankly doesn't need that stuff to be a good fighting game. So, I mean, I could just be talking from nostalgia. I've always really enjoyed the series. It's been a while since I've played one. I'm looking forward to returning to it, and I definitely will be on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or the PC on February 15th. Number 14 is Team Sonic Racing, which is, honestly, every Sonic racing game seems weird because Sonic runs super fast and doesn't need a car. But maybe he gets tired sometimes and still wants to race, I don't know. It doesn't really matter, like I just like saying that. Team Sonic Racing is built around a team racing mechanic with co-op things like slingshot boosts, and it just seems like a decent idea. Sonic All-Star Racing was actually a great game. I enjoy it. Is it perfect? No, but there's been a drought of kart racers that aren't Mario Kart, and this looks like a pretty competent entry to that idea. I'm excited to try playing it. Frankly, the Sonic racing games are always surprisingly good. That's hitting PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on May 21st. Number 13 is Tropico VI, the management and construction series, where you essentially build a sort of absurd city country thing on a Caribbean island nation called Tropico. You go through several eras, which obviously have different types of economic development. For instance, you can build other islands and link them with bridges once you hit the World War era, and you have to worry about keeping your citizens happy, avoiding revolt. You can frankly be quite weird in these games. You can make your own El Presidente, you customize their palace. It can get a bit silly, and frankly I think that it's good. There aren't enough of these types of games that allow themselves to embrace a less serious approach, at least without sacrificing the gameplay, which Tropico never does. Tropico 6 hits PS4, Xbox One, and PC on January 25th. Number 12 is Jump Force, the Shonen Jump, really absurd looking fighting game that has Dragon Ball Z, Death Note, Naruto, etc, etc. Frankly, this is a game I've been interested in since they announced it. It just seems like a big project that goes beyond what a normal fighting game would. It's very realistic looking except for the characters, which are just clear anime. And the fact that they've got Yagami Light Yagami, one of the two, depending on what country you're from. In this game, the hype is real. Jump Force hits PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 15th. Number 11 is Left Alive, which is a Square Enix game featuring art by the Metal Gear Solid art person, so I'm interested just automatically. But it takes place in the Front Mission universe, which is kind of just a different thing altogether. You could say that it's serial drama, you could say that it's mech stuff, you could say that it's commentary on what if there was multiple EUs and they were all hell-bent on destroying each other. They've been making Front Mission games since 1995 on the SNES. The most recent was in 2010, and if I had to guess, I'd say this is probably going to be at least kind of a reboot, just that they're switching to a totally different art style says something to me, or it may just be the concept art. I don't know. I'm interested. These are good games. They're interesting games. They've spanned several different genres, and I look forward to knowing more about Left Alive when it comes out on PS4 and PC. Number 10 is The Division 2, which Ubisoft is giving it another go. I say that because, frankly, The Division kind of squandered what it was. It's very much a pretty standard open world shooting game in the vein of a lot of other Ubisoft stuff, when it could have been much more in-depth. Now, does that mean The Division 2 is going to be some sort of fundamental change? Is it going to live up to what was originally promised in that original announcement video with the actors pretending to be friends playing the game together? I don't know. But if it's at least closer to that, if it feels more like a connected world, if it's more detailed, if it looks better, if it feels better, if it plays better, I'm willing to give it another shot. The Division 2 is hitting PS4, Xbox One, and PC on March 15th. Number 9 is Far Cry 5 New Dawn, the very first chronological sequel in the Far Cry series. Probably one of the better ideas as far as doing what they're doing with it. In a way, it's kind of Far Cry Fallout because it's after nukes have dropped in the US, and it does take on a pretty different look as far as the color palette from Far Cry 5, although it is a very clear successor to that, and I'm frankly just interested in how they decide to keep going with that story. It takes place 17 years after, and there's some pretty serious changes between those years, but the world set up as it was in Far Cry 5 is an interesting one to me. I look forward to when it hits PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 15th. Number 8 is Anthem, the new game from BioWare, an online game that does actually look pretty interesting. It's got jetpacks, it's got exosuits, it's got a world that looks pretty post-Civilization to me, and it's been something that they've been working on since Mass Effect 3, which is kind of why Mass Effect Andromeda was meh. Does that mean Anthem is not going to be meh? Quite possibly. But we have been let down by BioWare before, so the real question is, which BioWare do we get when Anthem hits on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 22nd. Number 7 is Metro Exodus, a very interesting post-apocalyptic nuclear winter-oriented game in which there are mutants you have to deal with in both a linear and non-linear fashion. There are traditional levels, there are more open areas. The Metro game preceding Metro Exodus is great. Metro's a really enjoyable series of first-person shooters that, frankly, I would be pretty surprised if Metro Exodus would be bad given its lineage. Metro Exodus is hitting PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 15th. Number 6, and it could actually be happening, I kind of think this is it, Crackdown 3 might actually grace the console or PC in your home relatively pretty soon, couple months. Crackdown 3 is a game that we have talked about for years. It is a game in which you can destroy the city if you want to, thanks to cloud computing. I don't care about the tech at this point. I want to destroy a city. I want to play Crackdown 3. Crackdown's fun. And destroying buildings like it's nothing is something that sounds like more fun to me. Also, we have Terry Crews as a protagonist now, and he is fun. He's funny. And supposedly, Crackdown 3 is hitting Xbox One and PC on February 15th. It feels kind of real this time, too. Number 5 is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the new game coming to you from Software. It's really impossible to say that sentence every time, saying from twice in a row, but whatever. It looks like Tenku Stealth Assassin combined with Dark Souls, sped up a bit. Frankly, seeing a grappling hook with some Dark Souls style dodging and attacks looks very promising to me, and we do see an actual somewhat wider color palette. There's a lot of red. Frankly, the second they announced this, I was excited. It just looks great. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is hitting PS4, Xbox One, and PC on March 22nd. Number 4 is Days Gone on the PS4. Days Gone is frankly something that has looked pretty damn good for quite a while. When we first saw some of the horde-oriented mechanics involved in this zombie shooter, it looked amazing, and then when we saw some of the stealth mechanics and how the zombies could even be directed to assist you if certain clever things are done, honestly, Days Gone could be a landmark title, especially in a genre overpopulated by pretty samey stuff. Days Gone will launch exclusively on the PS4 on April 26th. Number 3 is Devil May Cry 5, a game that we've been waiting for a very, very long time, and let's just go ahead and say it, everything about it looks amazing. I cannot wait to play Devil May Cry 5. I'm somebody who has enjoyed the type of game it is and the development of that genre for quite a while, knowing that Devil May Cry sort of gave us Platinum Games, and if it hadn't happened, we wouldn't have Bayonetta. At least most likely wouldn't have. Devil May Cry 5 is kind of a callback to a time when single player was really a big deal. Hack and slash games could just be that, and I'm there for more of it. It obviously has much better production values, and I think it's going to be a hell of a time. Devil May Cry 5 hits PS4, Xbox One, and PC on March 8th. Number 2 is the Resident Evil 2 remake. Not remaster, remake, reimagining. It is a beautiful reimagining, in my opinion, of a classic game. It looks so much more like more modern Resident Evil games, however, it's Resident Evil 2. It's Resident Evil 2 being acted much better, the graphics much better, the gameplay probably much better. Frankly, to see Resident Evil 2 get this kind of treatment excites me a great deal, and I can see myself being scared all over again, not knowing what's going to happen, despite the fact that I know what's going to happen very soon. Resident Evil 2 will hit PS4, Xbox One, and PC on January 25th. And finally, number 1 is Kingdom Hearts 3, the long-anticipated finale to the Kingdom Hearts series, a series that is so complicated it is impossible to sum up. It's an action RPG though. It takes place in the Disney/Square Enix universe, which is obviously absurd but has worked out really well, honestly. Although these characters are inherently different from their counterparts in their various worlds on account interacting with large cartoon characters takes some of the seriousness out of the Square characters, and interacting with the Square characters injects some seriousness into these big cartoon animals. And honestly, it's great. It's weird. It's always been weird, but it's also always been fun. And I cannot wait to play Kingdom Hearts 3 when it hits PS4 and Xbox One on January 29. What game are you looking forward to the absolute most in the first half of 2019? For me, honestly, it's probably Sekiro. I think that that's going to be an amazing game. But what do you think? Leave us a comment, let's have a discussion, and if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is to click the subscribe button, and do not forget to click the notification bell. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.